Yo, what's going on guys, it's Cease here and welcome back to an episode of Cease's Thesis. In today's episode, we're going to be going over everything you need to know when it comes to off spawns and how to win them more consistently. Let's get into it. Alright, so the POI that we're going to be going over today is Naughty Nets. I don't know it, just like you guys don't know it. There's key things when it comes to every off spawn and how you can win them more consistently, and I'm going to show this here for the first time, learning this together over Naughty Nets. Okay, so dropping in, of course, number one thing, drop map. You gotta have a drop map and you gotta know which spot to land at. Like, where do you want to land? Picking where you want to land and deciding what's better and what's more valuable comes down to playtime. Also just trying things out, right? You're not going to be able to land at a spot and instantly know where you want to go right away. And the easiest way to know your POI and to learn it is by looking at Loot Lake. So we're fortunate enough that Loot Lake has compiled all the stats on chest spawns, and based off of Loot Lake, you can quickly decide what part you want to land at just at a moment's glance. So we're going to hop over to Loot Lake. The number one thing when it comes to picking your spot is you got to first have a drop map. Basically, you got to pick where you want to land. What do you think is more valuable? That's great because we can look on Loot Lake here and we can see the chest spawns, right? We can see the loot split. What's it gonna look like? First thought that comes to mind is I'm gonna want to land on the north side. Just by looking at in-game and also looking at Loot Lake here, you see that there's a lot of brick over here. So you have a high amount of mats as well as a kind of downward angle. You have basically like the advantage. You have height advantage. So you have mats and then you can take height on these two buildings here, and you can look down onto the south side and get easy line of sight, easy sneak. And these buildings in the middle, since they're not super great and super high in loot, you're pretty much going to have one or the other free. I would imagine that an opposite side loot route is going to look something like this, right? Where you're kind of doing something like this. You're starting at the dock or you're starting at this building, right? And then you're working your way down here and then to here or here, whatever. So like I said, one of these buildings is going to be free. So one of these buildings is going to be a building either free as in they haven't looted it yet, or free as in like they haven't gotten to it yet because they were contested or they're so slow. You got your drop map, got the side you want to land on. The next thing you're going to want to do is start planning for all the what ifs. The what ifs would be like, okay, what if we hit this marker and there's two teams were contested at this building, but no one's here? What do? You got to have what ifs for all off spawn. That's the biggest thing that I can say. And it's something that comes with time. Play a lot and you figure out all the what ifs, right? You're not going to jump into a game and know right away every single possibility that's going to come at you. What are you going to do if a team contests you at this building? You're going to swerve to here, or, what are you going to do if a team is at this building? You have to know exactly how you want to play based off of scenarios that pop up on the fly. What are you going to do if you're contested by 3 teams at this area and this spot's uncontested? How are you going to get there? Can you make it off these glides? Like, can this take you to the south side? Can you make it here? You got to know all this, and that comes with the what ifs and the pre-planning. So you have your drop map, you have where you want to land, and now you're starting to work out your what ifs, right? You're starting to work out all of the possible outcome scenarios that you may never encounter, but you have pre-planned so you can act. It's like having the answers to a test, right? You know that, okay, if we're double conned at this yellow marker, we already know the exact best way, the best route, best everything. You got to figure that all out, and that comes with time of play. It's pretty simple. When it comes to Naughty Nets, you've got obviously more chest spawns here, right? So like that's the best spot to go through to for loot, and then you've got all your brick down here, and that's the best spot to go for brick and most mats, right? So you could play this section, right, and get as many mats as possible, more mats in these buildings, and have a little bit less loot. But again, that comes with time of play. How are these teams going to react if there's 2 teams here? How fast can they loot the buildings? The next thing that comes with this, speaking of how fast you can buildings, is loot routes. I'm sure you guys have all done those before for other spots. It's a very important thing, being efficient at the buildings you're looting and also the mats nearby. So for that, we're going to hop into game and we're going to take a look at these buildings so we can best break down the best loot routes for these buildings. Okay, so we're gliding in here and we're going to start doing loot routes. So it depends on bus routes. Okay, if you're coming from this way, obviously you're going to want to start here. If you're coming from this way, you're going to want to start here. So in this scenario, we're coming from this direction. We're going to start on this left side. Loot routes, it all comes with time, right? Like I can't have I'm not going to have a perfect route for you in this video. That's just not, it's not possible to be that efficient in Fortnite. But again, it comes with time. It's very simple. You have the directions where you want to land. That's based off of buses. What if you're contested? What if you're uncontested? If you're uncontested, you're probably going to land up here. If you're contested, like I said, land here and you can pick, which side you want to go when it comes to this. The cool thing about this spot is there's geysers as you rotates, and it's an edge map spot. So when it comes to an edge map spot, you're pretty much always going to have a pull up to the northwest. Of course, maybe you'll have zones over here straight west, or maybe just straight north. But that's the great thing with edge map spots. And like I said, you can do this with pretty much anywhere on the map. It doesn't have to be just Naughty Nets. And one thing that I do want to point out when it comes to these mobility items, and it's important, I could make a map for you guys and draw this out and say, hey, this geyser gets you to here, or this geyser gets you to here. But it's very important to do it yourself, because when it comes to these real in-game situations, you're quicker to react. Like, let's say you get to here, right? You hit this geyser. This geyser takes you over this hill. Let's just imagine it takes you this far. If someone is on this hill, right? Remember all the what ifs, they're pre-planning as you're going, you're creating the game plan, and as scenarios come up, you're gonna know how to react, right? Let's say someone's on this hill. Now you have to kind of divert and go south a bit. You're gonna know where that takes you, and you're gonna know the effects of that. So, hey, This takes me down here, which means all I have to do is run on this beach, get to this pad, and then I'm gone again, right? Easy for me to give you guys a map of something, but this is important for you guys to do this yourself, especially when it comes to any POI. If you're uncon, pretty simple. You can say you're going to want to work your way towards the geysers. You have to go this direction. So no matter what, you plan your loot route in that direction. So you don't start here and work your way here and come up and then work this way, right? That's very inefficient. So the best thing you can do is, it's pretty simple, right? Start here, work your way here, go here, boom, boom, out, right? Next person here, you can start here, boom, 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 out. I think there's many ways to do these. Like, again, this comes with time, comes with playing, comes with testing things, but it's important that you calculate wherever you're landing, whatever loot route you're doing, towards the direction of the zone and based off of where you're playing. So like I said, you'd be landing down here, right? You're going to want your loot route to be facing this direction. Like, you're going to want to start at the south and work your way to the north, because you're most likely always going to have north poles. Now, that's the great thing with these edge map spots. When it comes to center map spots, it's just as important, but it's more like you're taking positioning. So for these spots, right, you're going to want to start probably working your way on the edge here and then finishing so you can go take a hill here. Again, I'm not an expert on these spots. I'm just saying how I would do this if I wanted to start learning this spot. How am I going to start, right? And this is going to change over time. You're going to want to learn how to play at the most efficient level over time. What would you do if you're contested? How are you going to loot if you're contested, right? You're going to do this, and then here, and then look over, and then one person will go, let's say here, here. All the mats, look over. That's a potential, right? You have that. What's the other side gonna do? Boom, 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 and then maybe boom, boom, boom. Like, we have these options for other sides. They all come to the center when you're contested. What if there's only one team? What if there's 3 teams? What if there's 5 teams? Like, you got to think about all these scenarios and start mapping them out in your head, so that way when they happen, because it will happen, it's Fortnite, it's RNG, it's the game. You have these as well planned out as possible. The analogy of, like, you have the answers to the test. You know before it happens the answer and how the situation is going to turn out. That's when it comes to loot routes and when it comes to continuing to plan your what ifs, your game plan. Okay, so continuing on our rotates. I know I got a little sidetracked there, but I want to try to continue to show you guys some easy tits. Oh, tits? Don't put that in. Oh my god. Render distance in Fortnite is roughly 290 meters. So on this loot lake, it's a great handy tool, is you can just hop on loot lake, you can go here and you can draw your line, right? On any spot. So let's say, like, you're playing scrims and someone's holding you on this marker. You draw exactly where he sits, and you go out 290 meters. It doesn't matter if you go in any direction. It does not matter. So you come out here, whatever, 295, doesn't matter. Like, you draw your line and you draw your circle, click right on the dot, and you drag out into the line. So now you can see here very easily how far this guy can sit on the hill. He can't see you in naughty nets, but as soon as you come up to these geysers, he's able to see you. As soon as you fly on the geysers, you need to hit this geyser and go all the way around, right? If you want to avoid this guy in specific. You're going to have common hills where people are going to base up, especially in mega city. These guys sit on all these buildings here, right? So you can go ahead and make an easy map here. So let's go ahead and do that really quick. So you've got 290, boom, draw the circle. That's one building. You've got this other main building people sit on, 290, boom, circle. Very simple, and you can pre-plan for all of this, right? So this means you just have to go around. You have to go out of the render. And I'm not saying that the game is perfectly scriptable like that. You can't just say there's someone in this building, which means no one's going to be on the south here, you know? But it's nice to have these answers already in your head and drawn out based off your landing spot, based off the hills you most commonly rotate by. And again, I don't want to give advice on this because I've never played this spot in a scrim. I don't know the best common rotates. All I know is that if I was landing here for the first time, I would abuse these geysers to the max. And that kind of goes on to my next point of just, like, knowing where the geysers can take you and knowing the on-map mobility. I already know there's 3 pads here. So because of that, you have the geysers and the pads. And anytime you're running to the west here, rotating west, your rotate's going to be insanely easy. So you have your geyser, you can go geyser to geyser, right? And see how far the geyser takes you. Again, I don't play the spot, so I don't know how far this geyser can take me. I don't know if it takes me from here to here, or, you know, or only from here to here. I don't know. That's something that you can figure out. And again, I don't want to be super specific on naughty nets. I'm going to give you guys the tips and the tools, but I want this video to be applicable for any spot. Naughty nets is a pretty solid POI when it comes to already having mobility near it, which is a great thing, and it makes it really easy to break it down. So there's other spots, like I said, all the other spots on the map, they have their own mobility ways. You have the boats, and you have the pads, and you have the geysers. You have other things. You have slap juice. You have mid-map positioning like anvil and these gas station splits where they don't have to necessarily think like this because they're already in a good position. So that's rotates. We've covered pretty much all that comes with learning a new spot. And again, I can't stress this enough. It seriously just comes with time, playing, practicing, getting these reps in. Tournaments, watching other people play tournaments. You got to put in the time if you want to learn the spot to the fullest extent. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know we talked about some things and we went over some things that I've never really expressed on this channel, but this is some serious advice that I would give anybody and even myself when it comes to landing anywhere new on the entire map. But yeah, I try to make this video as general as possible so you guys can use this for any spot on the map. But if there's any questions, please let me know. I know this is a new video for me, new video for you guys to watch. Let me know what you guys want to see in the next video. And until then, peace.